पूरे परम पूज्य परम श्रद्धेय सर श्री बाबा आशुतोष स्वामी महाराज की जय। पूरे परम पूज्य परम श्रद्धेय सर श्री बाबा आशुतोष स्वामी महाराज की जय। पूरे परम पूज्य परम श्रद्धेय सर श्री आशुतोष भगवान जी की जय। सच्चे दरबार की जय। Welcome, brothers and sisters, to this afternoon spiritual discourse, to this satsang. I would firstly like to pay my highest respects and my highest regards into the Divine Lotus feet of Her Holiness Master Ji and His Holiness Baba Ashutosh Maharaj Ji. So I wanted to start off today with a hymn. It's a Christian hymn that's normally sung in churches, and I don't have the best of voices, so please forgive me. But I thought we'd start off with this today. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. This grace above me saved the soul, and grace will guide me home. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining like the sun, we have no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. So this hymn, this Christian hymn, talks about how by the divine grace of Guru's Kripa, by the divine grace of a perfect master of God, that He was able to lift me from this blindness and take me towards the light. So today what I wanted to really talk about is Guru Ka Chintan. What does that mean? When we talk about Guru Ka Chintan, Chintan Karna hai, to do that analysis of Guru, what does that truly mean in its essence? Well, the thing is that the main key to it is it's a conversation. It's a conversational aspect of this bhakti path, of this path of worship, of this path of connecting with the Almighty. So a good way of understanding this is through the concept of vibrations. So in physics, there's a theory that talks that is string theory, and the theory is still theoretical, but the fact is that it talks about how everything, all matter, everything that we perceive is made up of strings. That even atoms, subatomic particles, are really tiny, minute things that we can't see with these two eyes, our external eyes. That everything's made up of strings. Well, our Veds and our Shastras also support this in the sense of it talks about vibration. That at the beginning, before there was anything, there was a vibration. So in the Bible, it says in John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And it talks about this Word, that this Word was a primordial vibration, that everything comes from this. It's also something that our Veds have said when they talk about it, that the original of the Veds, the original of the first holy scriptures and texts that we have, first came from a vibration. That first vibration, that those rishis, that those true scientists, that when they received from Gyan, divine knowledge, and they were able to pick up on those vibrations, then that's how the Veds that we know today have come about. So we talk about this vibrational energy, and vibrations exist all around us. But the thing is that less on known signs that we know about different vibrations, different frequencies. For instance, you have gamma, ultraviolet, X-ray, microwave, radio waves, etc. There's certain frequencies and certain waves that we're aware of and we're able to map out. But the really small frequencies like gamma, we're not able to pick up on them with our external eyes. They're incredibly subtle vibrations. They're really subtle frequencies. So the reason why I'm talking about these frequencies is in the modern world now today, we know about positive and negative vibrations. We know about negative and positive frequencies. And there's a lot of research on how that can affect us. But there's a frequency that goes above this, but that frequency is also incredibly subtle. And that frequency exists between Guru and their disciple, between the perfect master and his disciple. That frequency exists. That it is said that those disciples are able to focus and pick up on that frequency, that they are then internally guided by their perfect master, by Guru. That although they do need this sakatsu, the physical, the visual in manifestation, incarnate form of their Guru, they could be millions and millions of miles away, hundreds and hundreds of miles away, and in sync with that internal vibration. Because it says that with a disciple, that their shraddha, their faith, their trust in their Guru, that what our scriptures and what saints have said is that because of their faith and their trust, that begins to wash their Guru's divine lotus feet. That is from that faith. But then that's the thing, between the Guru and his shish, between the Guru and his disciple, that relationship, that connection is beyond anything of this physical world. Because on that matter, we can talk to our Guru about things that we can't talk to anyone about. We have certain feelings, especially really deep feelings that exist within us, that we may not be consciously aware of. But we can connect and talk to our Guru and send those frequencies and that vibration to our Guru through that subtle vibration, through that subtle frequency that exists between a Guru and his disciple. So that's the key to it. Because our saints have also said that when a disciple sends anything through that frequency, through that connection between the Guru and his disciple, sends it through, then what happens is that Guru reads each and every word that is said from his disciple, like a letter. He reads each and every single word, and he takes care of it, and he remembers it. That connection exists between Guru and disciple. So we're talking about vibrations and frequencies, etc. Another good way of understanding it, the way I understood it, is, for instance, that let's say you're eating something, right? You've eaten something, and then if I asked you what's next, what did you do after? You tell me what sort of physical activity, what sort of event, something else that you did after. However, your consciousness won't go to, actually, I chewed my food, I ate something, I chewed my food, it went down my esophagus, then I had to make sure that the pH in my stomach was at a pH 1 or 2, so that the acidity was not high enough to break down the food. Then it went to my small intestines, and then by the microfilaments that are on my small intestines, then those nutrients were absorbed. No one would go into that much detail because that process of digestion is an automatic process. It's like breathing. We don't have to consciously remember to breathe. It's happening. You don't think, oh, stop, I forgot to breathe, and you stop breathing. That's not how it works. There's an automated system. And that exists within each and every one of us. Which then means that there's a frequency, there is an energy a so-called power that exists within each one of us and is going through all of us. And that in our scriptures, in a certain manner, we call it the branches. That your vital force, your life force, is the thing that's keeping you alive and is running things unconsciously, that you're not consciously aware of. So this is existing within each one of us. But what also happens is because of us as a human being, there's been a lot of extensive research on it, we also have our own magnetic field. And because we have our own magnetic field, we're able to pick up on different vibrations, different energies that we are not consciously aware of. A really small example of this is, let's say you see someone's face and they look angry. You instantly go into either fight or flight response, or you start to feel angry as well. And you've just seen their face. They haven't said anything, they haven't been aggressive or done anything to you. However, you naturally pick up that vibration before any sort of interaction happens. So there's something that's working on that vibration level. And for a Guru Shish, that is true. Because to do Guru's Chintan, to really focus on Guru, we have to work on that really subtle vibration. So, how does this work? So the one key aspect, one key thing that you need to remember here is that it is equal treatment. That we are able to send those frequencies to our Guru, send those messages, talk about our feelings, etc. with Guru based through this vibration alone. And Guru is able to send us those messages and those frequencies as well. So then what happens is then we send our messages to Guru, but we also need to pick them up. So the first aspect that we need to remember on this, when we talk about their communication between Guru and disciple through this vibration, is equal treatment. The Guru sends all of his disciples messages through this vibration, through this way of communication. The Guru sends it, it's a bit like the sun. The sun is not impartial with where its rays go. Its rays shine all over the world, giving light, giving nutrients, giving sustenance. So the Guru's vibrations, the messages that he's sending to his disciples, he's sending to all of his disciples. But it depends on the disciple who is doing Chintan of Guru, who's focused on his Guru at all times, is then able to pick up on these vibrations and then interpret them correctly. It's a bit like a radio. Earlier on I was talking about radio waves. So for instance, there's radio waves that exist all around us, but we can't see them with these two eyes. So these radio waves, etc., firstly, to be able to understand them, to be able to interpret them, we first need a radio. We need an apparatus of a radio. Then, once that radio is attuned to the right frequency, then it's able to pick up on those radio waves, and then we're able to hear the music. That's very much the same on the spiritual path. First, we need that apparatus, and that apparatus of a radio in the spiritual path is pragya. We first need our third eye to be opened to then being able to pick up on these frequencies. But the second part, the tuning, is dependent on the disciple and how much he's focused on his Guru. So then that's what happens. The tuning and frequencies. There's a story of this, of Yogaram Paramahansa, that he was in an ashram and he received a letter from his Guru, Sri Yukteswari Maharaji, that said that Guruji would be arriving at the train station at 9 o'clock in the morning. So he received it, and also in the letter it said it was Yogaram Paramahansa and another Sevadar, another disciple's seva, self-service, to pick the Guru up from the train station and travel together towards the ashram. So as that date approached, the day before Guruji was going to arrive, the disciple said to Yogaram Paramahansa, Guruji will arrive at 9 o'clock, I'm going to head to the station around 8:30. Yoga Brahmans had said to him, his fellow disciple, that Guruji will arrive at 10 o'clock, not 9 o'clock. So I'll be leaving at 9:30, and I'll see Guruji there. The disciple said to him, no, Guru's Vachana Amrit, what Guru says is perfect. If Guru has written a letter and said 9 o'clock, then he'll be there for 9. Yoga Brahman said, do as you please, but I will be there and Guruji will arrive at 10 o'clock. So the next day comes, the disciple leaves at 8:30, he arrives at the train station at 9 o'clock. And he's waiting, but his Guru hasn't arrived yet. Just before 10 o'clock, he sees that Yoga and Brahman is shown up. And exactly when it hit 10 o'clock, the train arrived, and his Guru Sri Yogeshwari Maharaji had arrived. So they travelled back to the ashram, but the disciple was angry and frustrated and confused that why is it that in the same letter that they were given the message that Guruji will arrive at 9 o'clock, but why is it that Guruji told Yoga Brahman it's 10 o'clock and he was right? Why was there that unequal treatment there? Sri Yogeshwari Maharaji had explained to his disciple, had said that what I had written in the letter, that I'll be there at 9 o'clock was right. However, there was issues with the scheduling, etc. And I sent both of you that message. I sent both of you that vibration, that the train will be delayed and I'll arrive there at 10 o'clock. But your Jintan wasn't on Guru. Your Brahman's Jintan was on Guru. Hence he was able to pick up on that vibration. Hence he was there on time at 10 o'clock to pick up his Guru. So Guru doesn't treat any of his disciples better or worse. He communicates with all of us. But the disciples that are able to pick up on those frequencies are the ones that are focused on Guru, that are doing Guru's Jintan. So how do we do this? And the main aspect of this is full focus. We need to be fully focused on our Guru, fully doing Guru's Jintan. And that may look in a range of different ways. But one aspect of it is prayer. We're praying to Guru. Prayer is in one way a form of communication. That you're not praying in the sense that you're asking God for things. You're praying in a way that you're worshipping, you're communicating that, hey Guru, there's these issues that are going on, I'm facing these troubles, you are so serious, you are the Supreme Almighty, you're the only one who can help me, how do I get through this? Because if we look at examples from the Bible, that whenever anyone went through any trepidation, an example of this is Daniel. When Daniel was sent into the den of lions, he never prayed for, God, get me out of this situation. He prayed for breakthrough. And all of our prophets and all of our saints do the same thing. They don't pray that the challenges be removed. They pray for a way through them. So when we pray, we are in essence communicating with God. There's a Pratna, the Gayatri Mantra. There's Om Bhuva Swaha, there's Savitar Varenyam, Bhargo Devasya Dhimai, Dhiyo Yona Prachodayam. That mantra is a prayer. You're praying to the divine. So when we're praying, whether it's through mantra, whether it's through bhajans, etc., we are then connecting to that Supreme. There's also a Christian hymn, and there's a prayer in it which is really good, that says, Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the water wherever you call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of That in this hymn, it's praying to the Almighty. Like, please give me the strength. Please give me that faith and trust that's needed so that I can walk on this earthly path. So, that full focus, part of it is prayer. That we need to pray in every instant and use it as an opportunity to connect with God. Another aspect of it as well, of this full focus, this full achievement, is focusing on Guru's Swarup. The Guru Gita, it says, Jnana Moolam Guru Murti, Mantra Moolam Guru Pradam. Dhyana Moolam Guru Murti. So you focus on Guru's Murti. We're very lucky that we've met the perfect master. We've know that Sarshi Baba Shloshama Maharaji, Sarshi Mahashloshama Ji, they are the perfect master. And though we have their swarups. So by focusing on their swarups, by communicating, that we can then increase our dhyan, increase our chintan and focus on our Guru. Because these are swarups, they're not pictures. And I've had many Anubhav, and I know many other disciples have had those divine revelations. When they're talking to the Swarup of Shrima Ashtoshambhava Ji or Baba Ashtoshambhava Maharaji Swarup, and they can hear their Guru clearly communicating with them. Sometimes I've been incredibly blessed and incredibly lucky that when I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Guru Sanghasana, that I see that Ma is sitting there, that Ma is visually there. So when, as a disciple, we bring our focus, we bring our attention to talking to Guru Swarup, that Swarup talks back to us. But we need to have faith, we need to have trust, and we need to be having that full focus. That when I'm talking to my Guru Swarup, my Guru is listening. There was one time that I had said to Mahashloshambhava, my Guru Ma, I said that I really struggle being able to hear that vibration. I really struggle to be able to hear Guru's response on the other side. And Ma once said to me, she was just like, okay, alright, because with guidance and Skara, there's a range of different things that you find it difficult to hear Guru's response sometimes. However, you know for sure that your Guru can hear you, right? And I said, yes, Ma, of course. So Ma said, then you talk. You talk. You communicate. Because it is a disciple's responsibility to make those efforts, to make those steps to talk to their Guru. And as I started to increase doing that, then that clarity, that response from the other side, from Guru, became a lot clearer. So it's a practical experience. But by talking to Guru Swarup, by doing Dhyana of the Murti, then that happened. Then that connection and that chintan increased. Because a good analogy of this is like a sunflower. A sunflower's face is always facing towards the sun. That no matter where it rises and sets, the face of the sunflower always faces towards it. So the thing is that focusing on our Guru is incredibly important. But the way in which we can accelerate that, so we've talked about prayer and focus on Guru Swarup, but the key aspect of being able to pick up on that vibration, being able to communicate with your Guru, to do Guru Sacha Chintan, is how it's through sadhana. I mentioned about the vibration, that primordial vibration, and in the Bible it talks about the word. Well, that word, as we know, is the name of God, that Adi name of God, that vibration of Simran. The Satyashritosh Maharaji had once said that a disciple that does Simran at all times, the Guru is walking behind them. The Guru is always with them. So we've been given, really blessed to be given Brahma, in which the Adi name that exists within our breath is awakened within us. So we have that technique in which each and every breath, each and every aspect, we're able to focus on Guru's Chintan. We're able to focus on that Simran. So that true technique is internal. However, there's an issue that arises when it comes to this, and that issue is what? That when we were born, there's a shloka that says, Jad Patadinde Jag Janma Shiv Shakti Garvas Dade. That when we were born with this Jad Patadit Gyan. However, what's happened is that once we've come into this world, we've lost our way. We've got stuck in Maya, we've got stuck in the world, we've got stuck in different things. Which means all of our indriya, all of our senses run externally now. All of our senses run externally. So the way in which we can bring our chintan and our focus back into Guru is through the perfect technique of sadhana. Because when we are doing sadhana, true sadhana, what happens is then those indriya become in our control. And once we have control of this indriya, control of these senses, have mastery over it, then we can start to go internally. And as our sadhana increases, as our connection increases, that vibrations, the communication from our Guru also increases and becomes even more clear and becomes clear to us. And then we're able to act and use our vivek and do the actions in which Guru wishes for us to do. So, we need to then do this training to bring all of our senses internally. But then the other aspect of it is that, well, why is this important? Right? We all know that we should be doing Guru's Chintan, we all know that we should be doing sadhana, talking to the street, wonderful. But it is incredibly vital for any disciple to do Guru's Chintan. Because the thing is that an example is a Buddhist, a philosopher's stone. Philosopher's stone, they say it has the ability to change iron into gold. Is able to change something like iron that's sturdy and is practical, but is able to convert it into something that's incredibly valuable of God. So the same thing is through this Brahmyan, through this internal connection, through doing Guru's Chintan and connecting with that Simran, with those vibrations. What happens then at that internal, that divine bias of Brahmyan, then changes our vichar, our thoughts, our actions, our behaviors into divinity, into gold, into something of incredibly high value. I gave the example of a sunflower. The sunflower looks incredibly beautiful whenever it's facing the sun. Why? Because the sun's rays are on it. So it glows. And all of our saints and our shastras talk about this, and it talks about those that are connecting with God, connecting with their Guru internally, and becoming still in that. What happens is that they begin to exhibit certain characteristics, certain divine aspects, certain sweetness in the way that they speak. They have a certain glow that actually comes. And the reason why I talk about this is because I've had this practical experience. There's this one time that we were here in this hall, and there was a debate that was happening. Ma Ashutosh Ji was here, and Baba Ashutosh Ji were here, and they were running this debate. And a mata that had come from Sangha, she was just looking at me, staring at me so intently. And when I looked towards her, she said, "Baby, you're glowing, you look really clean." And she was completely staring at me. I wasn't really aware of what was going on. But Ma laughed. Ma said, Guru gives their color to their children. Guru gives their prakash, gives their light to their children. So, and when I did analysis of that time, and I did Chintan on that time, at that time my sadhana was incredibly high. I was really busy in seva. I was really connecting with my Guru internally, so that when Guru gave me that, and others, it wasn't for me to see, it's for others to see. That those that connect with Guru, the Guru gives them that prakash, gives them those sense of divinity. But also what happens is that when we are doing Guru's Chintan, when we're connecting internally, what then ends up happening is that our Gana and our Sanskar, the things that weigh us down, become destroyed or alleviated and transformed. Which then means as a disciple that we begin to feel things like anand, true joy, bliss, peace, happiness. And we begin to feel light overall. So because of this, what then it means is that there's a range of different benefits when we start doing Guru's Chintan. But the thing for me, what I found, is I've always felt a sense of clarity. That I was clear on what I needed to do, where I needed to be, what I needed to say, how I needed to say it, etc. And because I had that sense of clarity, it meant that I didn't need to worry. I didn't have any stress or any tension about anything. So there's a shlok that says, "Mitti ka kalbut banaye, vijvat bente ape, ape diya, ape putter, ape bachao ape, ape roge, ape pitte, ape kare siyape." जब बुले शान मुश्किल में ना लिख जाने सारे सियापे. The disciple, Buddha was able to say that. How? Because he was completely connected with his guru at that time. For us as a disciple, when I've been connected and I've had that anubhav, when I'm doing such a chintan of my guru, what ends up happening? That my tension, my worries, my chinta goes. Because I have complete faith and complete clarity that my guru is called me. Because I'm able to pick up those vibrations. So it's us as a disciple, our responsibility to attune ourselves, like a radio, to be able to pick up all Guru's. So being able to pick up all Guru's vibrations, being able to connect. And I've given you today, through this satsang, by Ma Babaji's Kripa, 3 key ways. Prarthana, through prayer, through talking to Guru Swarup, and also having the patience, because the Swarup does kill. And also, the main aspect is through yourself, through your sin, through that internal connection. Because bhakti, that connection with Guru, is internal. And to have that internal connection, we must then train ourselves to go internally. Because when I was talking about this to a fellow disciple, when we were having a debate, one thing that she said to me is, we start doing this, we start connecting, everything goes all positive for a few days, and then we lose all motivation. That our enthusiasm goes. But when I was sitting on meditation, when I was doing analysis of this, when I was talking to my Guru, trying to connect internally, the answer that I received was is that, well, we have a reason. So for instance, we have a reason why we're on this path. We have a reason why we're following. For me, my reason is I want my Guru. From childhood all the way now, I want my Guru. हमको ईश्वर प्राप्त करना है. That's clear with me. And I'm very lucky that Guru has made that so that that's become a part of my nature, that all I want is my Guru. But the thing is that when we start to follow this path, there's certain sanskars and certain things that come in the way. So we need to always find a new motivation to make us enthusiastic. And I can give you a Baltic example. I can give you an example, a worldly example. For instance, it's January now, and especially in the West, everyone in January starts working out, exercising, full motivation that this new year will be a new you, right? So a lot of people start subscribing to gyms, memberships, etc. And the first intention, let's give an example with an individual, that their intention is to start exercising, going to the gym, because they want to lose weight, right? So they then are dedicated, focused, they have enthusiasm to go to the gym, to exercise on a regular basis, because of their enthusiasm to lose weight. But what happens, and there's a lot of research and a lot of science on this, that what ends up happening is those that consistently keep going, when they then start to lose motivation, and then lose motivation of, oh, I don't really fancy going to the gym, I don't really fancy exercising so extensively now. Then what happens? They find a new reason. And that new reason tends to be, well, But when I exercise, I feel better. I physically feel better. I also make better food choices. I make better choices overall. I also, it helps with my mental health, it helps with my stress, it helps with my mental clarity, etc. No, I'm going to keep going. They find a new reason in which they keep consistent. And then they keep going, keep going, keep going. And then after they find another reason. Oh no, but I'm exercising and my physique's better. I'm beginning to look better, I'm beginning to feel healthier. Okay, let's continue. So I'm giving you a worldly example here, but the thing is that when we start this path, there's obstacles. And no matter what aspect of life you're in, you'll always face challenges. But all of our saints and prophets have always taught us to find a way through. Not a way of them being removed, or blaming God for why is it that we face these challenges. No. All of our saints have always explained to us that we need to find a way through it. And the way through is always by connecting with that Supreme Almighty, by connecting with God. Because it was also in a book, it's called The Anatomy of the Spirit. And there's something that she phrases very well. She says that it's a Western ideology that we perceive that a life without any challenges or obstacles as being more blessed by God. But that's not true. If you think about Swami Vivekananda, he went through so many struggles. His sister committed suicide, he had a lot of family troubles, etc. But he still went. There's so many saints, so many disciples, so many Mahapurushas that had experienced a lot of suffering, a lot of challenges, but they kept going, and then they reached salvation. So the thing is that on this bhakti path, there will be a lot of challenges. But the thing is that we need to find a reason for continuing. For me, when I realized this and through my Chintan and connected with Guru internally, what I then found is that when I'm doing Guru's Chintan, when I'm connecting internally, that the positives outweigh the negatives a millionfold. And then what also happened to me, I find new motivation to keep going. So it's vital for every disciple, whether you're in sannyas or you're in grist or whatever aspect or wherever you are in this world, that by connecting with your Guru, by connecting to that Supreme Shakti, that's where the true fun and the true happiness in this life exists. Because we're all going to face challenges. But it's that relationship. Because with your Guru, through that vibration, that internal vibration, you can have a deeper connection than you can ever have with anything or anyone in this world. So for me, doing Guru's Chintan is incredibly important. And it's something that we should all be aspiring towards. I'd like to leave my words there today. If I've said anything that needs further clarity, I know I've mentioned certain things about physics, etc. So if you have any questions, you can of course ask me. And anyone that's watching the live, if they have any questions, of course, you can always message Children Surrounding Messaging account and we can reply back to you. Thank you. Budi Param Pujne Param Adne Maash Toshamriti Ki Jai. Budi Param Pujne Param Shraddhe Sashi Baba Ashutosh Maharaj Ki Jai. Budi Param Pujne Param Shraddhe Sashi Ashutosh Bhagwan Ki Jai. Sache Darbar Ki Jai. Jai Shri Ram.